Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more F1 Manager 2022. So, we are doing pretty well. We're third in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. We've started to get podiums with both our drivers. Well, I mean, I don't think they've both been on a podium at the same time, but they have both been on a podium. We're looking ahead to the French Grand Prix, I should say, in 11 days. In terms of our car development, we've basically switched now to developing research for the next season as opposed to developing parts for this season. We've got a chassis project and a front wing project. No, those are manufacturing, sorry. We've got an underfloor, front wing and rear wing research projects that are going currently. They're quite long term. They're looking at about 2 and a bit months still. So, yeah, I don't think we'll get lots and lots of research done. I'd quite like to get to a point where we've done a couple of levels of research on those the sort of main parts, the underfloor and both wings, because they have the biggest impact on car performance, particularly the underfloor. And then if we can get like a version of the other parts as well, I think that would put us in a pretty strong position going into next season. Let's see, today we've got a new regulations vote. I think I may have already done that, yeah. Low stock on the chassis. I think we're not... Are we not constructing that currently? Yeah, no, we'll be fine. Carry on. The results of the vote. This will be interesting because I think this was something that could potentially have a reasonable impact on us next season. Front wing's done. Right, so these changes have been voted in. I think we voted against. We did. So these changes were reducing testing times for the top-rated teams. So the team that finished first, they're losing hours in the wind tunnel and CFD simulator. And it's interesting that both Ferrari and Red Bull voted for these changes, which, I don't know, seems a bit bizarre to me. I mean, I can understand teams like Williams and Haas and AlphaTauri voting for them, because it would give them more testing time. You know, they're actually going to be able to improve their parts quicker. And tiebreaker voted for. But the Ferrari and Red Bull votes confuse me. I don't know if that's... I don't know. It's turkeys voting for Christmas. So I don't know why they've done that. Unless they're thinking, McLaren's going to be the #1 team. So, what do we care? But, I find that highly unlikely. It seems to be a bit of a quirk of the AI, put it that way. Esteban Ocon scouting complete. Let's have a little pop over and have a look at him. So he's rated 86 out of 100. 25 years old, French. Currently racing for Alpine. He has average growth potential, but high aggression, which is... it's a double-edged sword. It means that they're possibly better at overtaking, but at the same time it increases the likelihood of crashing, as they're getting very close to opponents. He's an incredibly smooth driver. Pretty good at cornering and braking. Not amazing, but good. Good reactions, good accuracy, very good control and smoothness. Very good at overtaking, reasonable at defending, fairly adaptable. So if we compare him to, say, Ricciardo, so he's better in both growth potential, he's more aggressive, so that's fine. He's got better reactions, same defending, better at overtaking, not as adaptable, bit quite smoother, much better control, not quite as good as at the braking and cornering, but he's mid-20s, so he's got that room to grow. And actually, I quite like that. What's his salary like? He's paid half as much as Ricciardo, with a lower bonus as well. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but hear me out. Do we make the change now, halfway through the season? Maybe. I think he's a better driver, more room to grow. We'll be paying him less, like half as much, potentially, depending on what he wants to be paid by us. Okay, yeah, I'm tempted to do that, actually. I am tempted to do that. Let's have a look what else we've got here, because we've also scouted Leclerc. Or Leclerc. He's paid a lot more. Like, as you'd expect, driving #1 driver for Ferrari. But let's have a little look at his profile. So, low aggression's interesting. Average growth potential is 24, a bit younger than Ocon. His defending's quite poor, actually. What marks him out as being really good? It's the cornering, the braking, the reactions, the control, the accuracy. But a couple of weaknesses there still. Let's compare him to Ricciardo first. Smoothness is lower. But let's actually compare him to Ocon. Higher rated, so he's better, he's more accurate, better reactions, but it's not a vast gap. However, Ocon is quite a lot better at defending, he's a better overtaker, he's more adaptable, much smoother, so it's going to be easier tyre wear, better control. Not as good as the braking at cornering, but, you know, as he develops, maybe those are the areas we pump his development points into. But importantly, he's paid, you know, nearly a third of what Leclerc is. He's got a buyout fee we couldn't even afford. It's interesting. I'm tempted to have a go at signing Ocon on the back of this. How does he compare with Norris? So Norris, who is, you know, he's a few years younger, so he's still got lots of room to develop. Their actually overall rating is the same, so I expect these aren't going to be too different, but he's, Ocon is a bit at defending, he's got better reactions, he's a much better overtaker, roughly the same adaptability, he's a much smoother driver. Not quite as good control. Norris is much better at braking, cornering isn't that different. So maybe it makes sense to keep Norris as the car number 2 at this point. Bear in mind, I see the drivers 1 and 2 as basically being equals. What was Norris paid? I mean, hopefully he's going to come in at a lower rate than Norris. All right, I'm going to do it. We want him as car number 1. There's the season contract length is a bit of a wild stab in the dark, but let's see what he feels like about 5 seasons, and let's offer him, say, 5 million to start with to move to us. If we can get him on this, let's say like a 5th place bonus threshold. If we say like 500,000, I mean, already if he's achieving that, it'll be half as much as Ricciardo is earning from his race target bonus. Starting bonus, yep. 500,000. See how he feels about that. Now, because he's got very high patience currently, we'll have a few bites of this cherry to see what he wants. Good. Oh, that's looking very good. That's an agreement. Makes me wonder if I've offered him too much money. He was almost too quick to agree to that. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be earning. You know, about half what Ricciardo is. With half, you know, effectively earning plus 500,000 per race more through having him rather than Ricciardo. Yeah, I'm doing it. It's all pretty much all our money, but let's consider this a worthwhile investment for this season. There he goes, Esteban Ocon, our new driver. Quick look. Yeah, I feel happy with that. Actually, both our drivers are, you know, rated the same. We've got Theo, who's pushing through, developing quite nicely. Okay, I'm happy with that. We'll see what he does in the next race. I'm hoping for a good performance, quite honestly. Let's welcome Esteban Ocon. I thought we gave him 5 seasons. Maybe it counts this one. It's 4.5. It's 4.5 seasons, effectively, isn't it? At 54 months, so that's fine. French Grand Prix. Let's go to race prep. So I think we're going to tick all of these. We're expecting to get to Q3. Finish position of 10th. I think that's reasonable for what we're performing at the moment. Qualifying position streak. That's 1 driver to get to 12th. I think that's fine. And finish position of 2 drivers to get 12th or higher, I think that's fine also. So, yeah, let's go to the race weekend.
It's Grand Prix time here in Le Castellet. The very first horseless carriage race was organised in France in 1894. Since then, well, the carriages have only gotten faster. For the Grand Prix here, Paul Ricard boasts a fine collection of low, medium and high-speed corners. The seam curve is taken at breakneck speed, right before heavy braking at Beausset. This is an all-rounder test for cars and drivers alike. We're about halfway through the season now, and there's still plenty of time for everything to change. All eyes are on the team.
Is that Ocon there in our garage? That's interesting.
The weekend begins.
But notice when I've hired new drivers to teams on other saves that you actually don't see them appearing in scenes like that, so that's interesting that they do. Quick look at the weather. It's going to be fine all the way through, it looks like. Let's go into P1. So we're going to remember to switch out Theo, first of all. So sorry, Esteban, you're going to be sat down just a little bit longer. 18 laps on the run plan. Let's bump down the fuel and engine use and all of that stuff. And yeah, I think we're ready. Let's go to P1. Let's send out Theo first of all. I'll send out Norris. Who? Sorry, Norris. I did have plans to make you our #1 driver in the closed season, but I don't know. I really wanted a new driver. I mean, Ricciardo's been doing well for us. Don't get me wrong. But I think Ocon is going to be better. So we'll let them do the next 18 or so laps and work out how pleased with their current setup they are, and then when we come back, we'll see what we can do about changing that. I think we're getting pretty close. Oh, we actually are. 60%. That's not bad for a first run. Let's call him in. And car 2. How are you doing? Don't know yet. Okay, so traction looks good. I think we just nudge that one that way for now. Well, straights is pretty obvious which way that's got to go. Let's just bump that right to the end there. So that's actually moved oversteer as well all the way up there, which is fine. Braking stability is slightly odd. What I might do is just take that all the way to the end of that side, as it seems to be suggesting. Traction we're going to have to bring in probably to there, which means bringing that in a bit as well. Maybe like that. Yeah, braking stability will just change a little bit more. Front wing angle, like that. We need cornering to come out a bit more again. Let's try that. That looks alright to me. It's got a medium set. Norris is 57%, so pretty similar. Let's bring him in.
The car is okay.
It's pretty even.
Thanks, Lando.
Copy tire phase.
Right, so with oversteer, it's pretty obvious which way that's got to go. Let's just move it as much as we can for now. And then it's straights, which is the other bad one, so let's give that a big bump up. And then we've probably got to move that back a bit. Okay, let's leave those there. Braking stability, let's just say bring you into about there. And cornering, we probably want to get you there. Traction, we want to get you closer to there. And then if I do that, braking stability we need to bring in a bit more. Maybe if we take that in a touch. Cornering, I would like to move that way if possible. How can we do that? Yeah, it's that, isn't it? I need that to be there though. If we take that there, and then maybe we can. It's that one that worries me. mean... So that's got to move that way, but then braking stability is out of whack. Move it back that way. I think we'll give that a go. I'm not happy with the cornering. I think that's got to come in a bit more, but if we can get the other stuff pretty close, then maybe that won't matter. So, we'll let that run. When we come back, we will see how we got on in the second run. I think Theo's probably getting pretty close again. There we are.
Do you need any help with the balance at this stage?
57, so we've actually made that worse. Okay, we'll have a look at why that was. Okay. So we got a bit too extreme with a couple of those. Let's bring... It's probably got to be just... slot on the top bar. I mean, that's saying the original one was best, so that made it worse. But I reckon it's got to be still rated as bad on both. It's got to be somewhere close to the middle. So I think that's probably looking pretty good. I'm not sure where that's saying great, but that's still the best. So let's leave that in the middle of both because I'm not quite sure what's going on there. We want to get cornering going that way a bit. So. Slightly tricky one to manage that. Okay, let's deal with the bottom one first. So, again, we've probably got to take that... No, that's the wrong one. It's this one for the bottom bar. So again, probably take that fairly close to the middle, but verging towards this one. I think that's probably looking all right. Traction, obviously that's got to change. Not by much. If I could get it, position it sort of between those two. Like that, say. So what does that leave everything else? That's gone too far that way now. So we've got to change that. Actually, if I bring that out more, and then give it a whack like that. Top one's still looking okay. Braking stability, that's fairly easy to change. Could try that. And could try that. That bottom one. Bit tricky, but let's try it there, and we'll see how that goes. But obviously, in the next session, so Lando must be getting fairly close as well. So we'll stick with it. 55. So once again, we've made things worse, very slightly worse. And we'll have a look at why we think that it was. Okay, so it's a similar story. I think we got too extreme with the changes, basically. So let's bring those back a little bit. Alright, try that. Leave those as they are. Tell you what, let's leave the rest as it is, and we'll see what happens. But we'll leave it there. We're not going to send them out again. When we come back, we'll be heading into P2. Okay, so here we are. We're not going to bother looking at the results, as we weren't really racing for speed. And I also realised that I left the sort of racing car parts in the respective cars, so we're going to swap those around now for P2. There's a little bit of life left in that gearbox, so... 18 laps. There's things around here, and I've just realised it's also Ocon's home race, so hopefully we'll see a good performance from him. Do the same with the car parts on car 2. Again, reminded that we're going to need to change around these parts at some point, or buy new ones at £1 million per piece. And at a subsequent grid penalty as well, all thanks to young Mick Schumacher. I'm not bitter. I am a bit. Okay, so let's head into P2.
I'm ready to check.
Send out Ocon for his first go in the McLaren car. And we are outperforming Alpine, so for him it's a step up. And yeah, we'll see how he gets on when we come back. Yeah, I think Ocon's probably getting fairly close to his first results with this. It's interesting that despite being in a completely new car, he's 100% He knows 100% about it. It seems slightly strange to me. I would have thought he'd have started at, well, maybe 0. Who knows? And I've just noticed that Ricciardo's signed for Alpine to replace Ocon. So we've basically just swapped drivers, which is interesting. I guess from a Drivers' Championship point of view, that Ricciardo is better off than Ocon. He's had a few decently high finishes, so that's quite good for them. But I don't think that the points don't translate over for the constructors, do they? I don't think so. Come on, Ocon, I thought we were pretty close. Even a 4 out of 5 for ages. Wait a minute now. Here we go. 94. So okay, we did a lot better on that one.
Give us some feedback on tools and what we can look at.
Let's call him back in.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Feels good at the moment.
Thank you, Esteban.
Copy.
Yay. Braking stability. That's it. I mean, that's the easiest one to change, really. I would quite like to send it that way. Sort of the bigger part of the bar. That's made cornering move slightly, and everything else remained the same. So that looks good. Let's have a quick look at the tyres. I'd like to keep that second set of mediums available. Maybe we'll put them on hards for this one. As for Norris, 91 again, so we've done a little bit better the second attempt.
The car is okay.
I'm happy.
Okay, understood.
And I'm happy that you're happy, Lando. Okay, bottom two are good. Well, they're optimal, so yeah. But again, I'm guessing braking stability is going to have to come that way, just because of where the bar was. So that might have an impact on car 1 as well. Yeah, I guess we've moved that just a smidge. It affected those two similarly, so that's fine. Let's put Lando on hards as well. And when we come back, we'll see how they get on this run. Okay, I think we're getting close again on car number 1. 89, so we've made that worse, haven't we?
Feels good so
Again,
far.
let's call him in and see what we went wrong on that one.
Understood.
Yeah, we guessed wrong on that braking stability. So I think if we move that to there, I think that will help that one as well. So this will be in the next practice session, obviously, but let's just get it going. And we'll stick with Norris because I expect he's not too far off. I want to check that he's using the right front wing as well. He needed one replaced, didn't he? 93 is the same as before, so that's intriguing. Why is that? So that's actually optimal. Everything else is okay. I think that needs to come that way. So we've sent that one that way. Everything's moved slightly, but we just moved that braking stability back in. We could try and change these a little more even, just by doing that. And then the braking stability we just nudge back to optimal position. We can run with that, see how that goes. Car parts, so yeah. So, yeah, he's on version 2 of everything, which I think is right. No! We've got version 3 front wing now. Why haven't we installed those? What else are we missing out on? Car 1... Oh wow, this is all a bit messed up. So front wing. And rear wing, car 1 needs to change. Everything else is okay. Alrighty. So when we come back, we'll be heading into P3. Here we are. So going into P3, I just want to check the car parts again, because I swapped them on Ocon's car as well, and we ran out of time to fit those. So I'll just check that actually did happen ahead of P3. So it was his rear wing is now that type, and its front wing is that type as well. That's good. Still got those practice parts on. That's fine. Let's up our run plan. Although now we've got really good feedback from our race engineers. They actually don't need the 18 laps, but it's still... I'd still rather keep them out a bit longer than them come in and have to send them out immediately again on different set of tyres. So, let's go into P3. Send out Ocon first.
Loud and clear.
And we'll send out Norris. And when we come back, we'll see how we do on this setup. Hopefully, fairly close to optimal. I think we're getting fairly close on Ocon now. Hopefully see that it's improved. I think we had 94, then 89, and now it's 99. There we go. Perfect. Or very close to perfect. I'll let him stay out for the rest of this run then. I won't call him in.
Hard work paying off there. Right
Obviously, he's got to get the track acclimatization up a bit. He's got to acclimatize these parts again because I've changed the wings and stuff around. Yeah, well, we'll up the pace, but we'll stick with it because I think Norris will probably let us know quite soon what he's on. .97. So I think we'll probably leave it there. So again, what I'm going to do, I'll just leave him out for the rest of this run. I might leave that for car 2. And then with car 1, I might send Ocon out again on a different set of tyres just to get the track acclimatization up. But either way, what will happen is that when we come back, we'll be heading into qualifying. It's the end of P3. I actually couldn't send Ocon out for another run. They wouldn't let him go out on that same gearbox, and it took longer to replace the gearbox than we had left remaining in the session. So he's there on the 48% track acclimatization. They're both, you know, quite a way short of 100% knowledge on the car parts, unfortunately, but we got the setup good. We done good there, at least. Car parts, we're going to switch everything back to our race sets. That's okay otherwise. Okay, so let's head into qualifying. So as before in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 races, we're going to manage the session ourselves, but we'll leave the cars themselves on the automatic settings. It doesn't seem to make any difference to the times, whether I do it or manually or the AI just does it automatically. Let's stick, we'll speed up for the out lap, and then when they start their flying lap, I'll just hop into Ocon's cockpit and we'll follow it from there. So here we go. All these I would assume are up to the max, just the same way I would be doing it. And I'm interested to see who's faster now out of Ocon and Norris, because, you know, with Norris and Ricciardo, I felt there was a clear primary and secondary driver. As you know, now I think they must be very close, and interesting to see who's actually going to come out on top. Effectively, they've got exactly the same car. The driver rating is the same. You know, they have different strengths and weaknesses, but there shouldn't be a lot between them, I wouldn't think. And I wonder if home advantage does play into it a little bit. I mean, if it does, it's an invisible thing that happens behind the scenes, but it's possible that in the French Grand Prix, that Ocon as a French driver might, you know, just perform that little bit better. I don't know. Now we're coming in to see what our time is. .132. If we have a quick look at the track record, then it is 132.740. Norris was actually better, but not by much, by like less than 100th of a second. They're both sort of below Vettel's record time on the track, but I've noticed that, you know, on most races, the lead cars will be beating that. So let's just speed things up here and see where we figure in the final standings. Well, not, you know, midway standings, I suppose, for this. But let's stick a new set of tyres on. Still top. The Mercedes have had their run. Ferrari and Red Bull still haven't. Here we go. Ferraris are quicker than us. The Red Bulls, I presume, will be as well. There we go. So 5th and 6th. That's kind of what I would expect. So let's send them out for another run now. But honestly, not too much of a surprise that. So quite possibly that will be, you know, where we end up, and I'd be fine. I'd be happy with that. You know, gives us a good platform to finish higher during the race, but also we hit all our sort of qualifying targets and stuff. There we go, 5th and 6th. Very happy with that. Now that we're pumping the research into car parts for next season, I don't really expect that to change this season. If anything, it might get slightly worse as it goes on because the AI teams do develop car parts themselves. I think it's at a slower rate than, you know, than the human-controlled teams.
Loud and clear.
But it does happen. So, you know, as the season wears on, we might lose ground on the top 2 teams, and Mercedes may start becoming a bit quicker than us again. But I think we're well positioned to meet our season targets from the board. So I didn't see too much of an issue there. I think my hope is that for season 2, we're actually competing for the drivers and constructors titles. You know, if we can just pump enough research into it. Apologies if you hear any barking in the background. That's the children playing with the family dog downstairs. Oh, let's send out for another run. Here we go. We're a bit in the thick of the pack now. I lost track of the time. But again, we're 5th and 6th, so I don't really see that changing. Might drop a place or 2, potentially, I suppose. But overall, I think that's probably where we'll be. And that's fine. Very much consolidating that best of the rest title, which is fine for season 1. I think I didn't expect to win the constructors title in the first season. We've had too much ground to make up on the top teams. Let's speed this up. I'll probably only do 1 run for this. If we come out sort of around that 5th, 6th standing again, I'll probably just leave it there. Because we're beyond the point where we can be eliminated, so I think at this point we'll just save our tyres. There we go. Ferraris, Red Bulls ahead of us. Alpha's behind us. Actually, Norris is above Leclerc, which is interesting. I think I'll leave it there. I'd expect on the second run Perez to do better. Probably Leclerc as well, so I imagine we'll finish around that 5th, 6th again. If I had to guess. Oh, for goodness sake. 5th, 6th. There we go. Yeah, not surprising really, and that's fine.
Here we are, folks. We're back for another day of scintillating F1 action. It's race day.
I just want to see
Qualifying
if
went well for McLaren,
Ocon and Norris are here.
start this race feeling quite comfortable.
Don't think they are.
This weekend, Red Bull displayed.
I don't care about Red Bull. We'll be coming for you next season, Christian Horner. Okay, quick check of the weather. There is no rain due, so if we Ocon, maybe if we start with a medium compound into hard, looks all right. I'm going to top up the fuel a little bit just because I like to push that. Start very high and aggressive. Norris, I might go the other way. If we go hards into medium. Looking good. Similar, we'll just top up the fuel a wee bit. And the driving. There we go. And yeah, I think we're set. So let's head into the race.
It's a bit of a cloudy day for the race, but the atmosphere as ever is electric. And there is Lando Norris. A top 10 position today, but will they be able to capitalise on it? Further back, we've got Esteban Ocon. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. The race starts.
Right.
And here
Let's
we
do this
go
thing.
with the French Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Let's jump into Ocon's car, I suppose. He's actually... Oh, he's just overtaken Norris, in fact. I'm not going to set team instructions at this stage. Later on in the race we'll see if they're tripping over each other's feet, in which case we might have to pick who we want to finish higher. And it would probably be Norris, just because he's already higher in the driver's standings. Although Ocon seems to be quicker. At this stage anyway. Right, we'll stick with this for the first lap or two. See how things shape up. Already losing fair amount of ground on the Ferraris on the straight. Coming to quite a lot of turns now though, we might see ourselves catch up a bit. How are we doing? Yeah, we halved the time to Sainz. Oh, we might even try an overtake. We got it. We cut him off. I think we did.
Yeah, you passed. You're through.
There he goes. Good work, Esteban.
McLaren gain a position.
Well, Norris was far and away my favourite driver when I had Danny in the first car, so I don't know quite who to cheer for now and refer to in the first person. Ocon's with the fastest lap of the race early on. Very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Norris has overtaken Sainz as well.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Excellent. But it's a marathon, not a sprint, so we'll see how that goes. Got our eyes on Perez now. Ooh. Positioning ourselves for an overtake perhaps. I can give him some overtake juice.
Overtake is available. Overtake available.
Okay.
Oh, he's going to try it, I think. We'll just get around him on this one. He came back inside. I think we got the pace though. There we go, third.
Keep at it.
I mean, after 2 laps I'm going to turn down the aggression on the tyres and the fuel. So we'll probably see Sainz and Perez overtake once more. Because what the AI does, it tends to stick in the sort of neutral middle ground for all its settings during the race. I think during qualifying it dials things up like we do. But during the race it sort of sits in this quite neutral rating. So when we push ourselves, you know, the distance between us and Red Bull and Ferrari isn't huge. So when we push ourselves, we actually can overtake them. But we can't spend the entire race like that, so... Oh, but we are trying to overtake again.
DRS enabled.
Verstappen. Oh, I don't want to turn it down just yet because we're doing really well. Oh,
You're doing a mega job.
he is doing a mega job. Some turns now, we might be a bit quicker on those. Oh, we're around Verstappen. Ocon's doing brilliantly. Still got the fastest lap time thus far. Now we're trying to get on Leclerc. 2 French drivers. Oh wow, we're just beating him for pace on the DRS. Look at that. Oh, Esteban, I'm going to have to turn down the tyre aggression
It's a
though.
good stint so
So
far.
all this good work you've done is going to change slightly. We'll keep the
Just look
fuel
after this tyre set there.
high for
Look
now
after
though.
it.
till we see that go down towards the negatives.
We are
Out of DRS.
Oh, Ocon.
coming.
First place by a second. I think Leclerc will probably get DRS though, unless we can
DRS.
increase the ground
Yeah,
between us a
all
little
good.
bit. Norris in
Slow down now.
fourth. Definitely feeling like it was a good decision to replace Ricciardo with Ocon. Feel vindicated at this stage. But as much as I'm enjoying this, I think I am gonna we'll turn up the speed a bit on the race for a while now. Yeah, you see, again we're settling into this pattern of catching us on the straights and us making ground on the corners. Oh, we're gonna have to turn the fuel balance down though.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
Yeah, so Leclerc's overtaken again. I'm not surprised.
Wrong lap, well done.
Oh, Norris has just taken the fastest lap. There he is, right behind us. We have to turn down Norris's fuel setting as well.
And confirm, lift off.
Cool.
Oh, Ocon's taken Leclerc again. It's interesting Leclerc had such poor aggression, A, and B, defending. So that does give me hope that if we can, keep dueling with him at this kind of level, and we can switch up the fuel setting again on both cars, that we might have a chance of a good finish in this race.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
It's all kind of happening, isn't it? Alright, yeah, let's hop back in for a
Was a
bit.
very good lap.
Norris still with the fastest lap. Nice one, Lando. Oh, who's this? This is Verstappen, is it? I'm just really happy to see us mixing it with the big boys in this race. I mean, below us, these top three teams, there's an almost 10-second gap between us and Bottas, who, although he's in the Alpha, does tend to perform very well in it. And he's ahead of the Mercedes.
Ferrari advance the race position.
Well, we're kind of here on merit, aren't we, at this stage? What tyres is everyone else on? Mixture. We're pushing ours a bit further though, so we're wearing our mediums out faster than the Ferraris are, and the Red Bulls. But it's within the
McLaren
scope
gain
of
a
our race
position.
strategy, so not worried about that. Norris in second now, we've got 1-2. At this stage, do I set to give Norris driver instructions? Don't fight teammate. Hold cars back behind. We'll see how he gets on with that. Well, he couldn't defend against Leclerc, unfortunately. I might take that setting off because I'd like him to get, if Ocon's getting P1, I'd quite like Norris to get P2. I mean, pit stops could change things around a bit. I expect we're coming to within. I can't remember when we said, was it about lap 20, 25, something like that? Probably wasn't 25. That
Red
seems a
Bull
bit
moved
bit
up.
much. Lap 22, I think, is our ideal stop.
Thank you.
Once that
Very-
happens,
very strong out
then
there.
things are going to switch around. Might be a mistake in the pits that delays
think about the
us
lift-off.
or a competitor. You never know.
Copy that.
But let's push on a bit until we get to that sort of time. Look at the gap between the front six and the rest.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Already pretty huge. With P1, P2 again. That is going to change around a lot, though, I think. Well, despite being told not to fight with
Sounds
Ocon,
like someone's
Norris keeps trying to
locked up.
overtake him. Oh, it's Leclerc now. Alright, well, let's set his fuel a bit higher again. Okay, we're in the pit window, but we know we've got about 3 laps until we kind of need to come in. Possibly longer. I mean, we've got another 20% on the tyres still, so we'll leave them on as long as possible. I think. Oh, they are catching up, aren't they? Is it DRS or something? Loads of fuel left, which is nice. Norris has still got that fastest lap. Okay, let's speed things up. I'll keep an eye on the tyres, though. Oh, Leclerc's pitted.
Okay, that was a purple lap. I'll let you know if the situation changes.
Ah, Verstappen's taken the fastest lap. I'm going to thrash my tyres a bit because we're due to come in any time on them. Going to give another couple of laps, I think. Alright, let's think about it now. So with 37%... yeah, okay, we'll come in. Gasly's got the fastest lap now of all things. Interesting.
Yeah, copy.
I suppose because the track rubber and grip increases throughout the race, that actually, you know, that's going to change hands probably quite a lot as the race progresses now. And the fastest lap may well be one of the last ones. And we're off 2.5 seconds. Seems like a decent time. Russell's a long way behind us. Quite a long pit lane, this one, it feels like. Wow, where are we finishing? I presume Russell's not come in yet. So we're coming out. Sainz, has he pitted? He hasn't. Well, we'll turn that back down to aggressive. We'll maybe go balanced on the fuel for a little while. Norris is due to pit around lap 32, so
been a lock-up.
quite a bit. Let's look at
Let's see
Albon's
what
lock-up. There
happened
hasn't
there.
really been much race
Now
drama
watch
yet in
this.
terms of
Here's
incident.
the moments involving Albon. And there's the lock-up. It almost got away from them entirely.
Yeah, it wasn't that dramatic, in fairness.
Back it out. Back it out.
Right, let's hop over to Norris as he's currently leading the race.
Update on liftoff. We do require fuel liftoff.
Copy.
Yeah, so if Ocon is currently leading the cars that have already pitted, so that's quite encouraging. Not a huge gap between him and Verstappen. So we should pop back over to him. Yeah, so we see the Red Bulls behind. Might go to push mode. And let's speed it up a little bit till we get to close to Norris's pit stop. Oh yeah, the Red Bulls are catching up. And then they back off a little bit.
Ferrari just gained a place.
Okay.
Someone spun out.
Hamilton's, well, we'll
Let's
watch
have a
Hamilton
look.
spin maybe.
Now watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this one.
Ooh.
What a spin!
Yeah, so Norris is in his pit window. 38% on the tyres, so we probably will pit fairly soon. Let's keep an eye on his pit window. So I think what we'll do is we'll let this lap elapse, and then we'll schedule it in for the next one. Oops. Yeah. So we go on to mediums. Looking fine for now. Let's hop over to Ocon again. So we're seeing some pits starting to happen now. Three cars ahead. Alonso, Russell and Gasly. They still haven't pitted. I imagine they will fairly soon. But we're right on their tails, so you know, when we might even overtake them before they pit, which should be quite good. You can try putting them in overtake mode and see if we can do that now.
Overtake is available. Overtake available.
Copy.
We've got Gasly. Okay, well, that's Gasly overtaken. We're pretty close to Alonso now. We've run out of ERS though. So.
McLaren gain a position.
Norris is kind of behind all the Ferraris and Red Bulls now for some reason. Not quite sure why. But they're off. So, Ocon, P1. Gasly's actually behind us. Did he pit? He hasn't yet. Okay. Going through our tyres quite fast, it feels like, but I guess they're still okay. Norris is a strange one. I wonder why he's fallen so far behind those, because he was... Well, I mean, he was leading the race when he pitted, but I think, you know, prior to all the pit stops and stuff, he was quite comfortably P2, P3. So a little bit disappointing there for him. Maybe there was a mistake in his pit. I wasn't paying close attention to it. Maybe been a bit of a delay there, possibly. Look at the intervals. I mean, he's within about a second of Perez. He's actually just overtaken Sainz, so that's good. You might see him start to work his way up again.
Good job.
He's still told him not to fight with teammates, so that's good.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
So Gasly's still not pitted. surely he will at some point. Ricciardo hasn't either. But I would imagine that all the other drivers have... Well, once Gasly and Ricciardo have pitted, I imagine that's going to be it for pit stops for the rest of the race. We've actually got quite a healthy lead over Perez now and the rest of the chasing pack. They do eat into it. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, we very briefly had the fastest lap. It's back with Verstappen now. So we'll see what happens at the end of the race. It's possible because I mean, for the last couple of laps, I'm going to absolutely push everything to the max. So we might well get it there. But I'll probably speed things up now for a little while. I'm sort of settling to build a pattern. I mean, Norris is gradually working his way back up the standings, which is quite nice. Getting a couple of seconds now over Leclerc, although he's eating into that on the straights. But I think, you know, it's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I think the gap will increase, albeit fairly slowly. Norris actually has the fastest lap now. Very good from him. Still looking all right on the fuel on both cars. Let's whiz forward a little bit again. Norris, oh, he's in P2 now. Good boy. Just looking all right on the fuel.
McLaren
Tyres.
have got some momentum going.
Oh, if we got a P1, P2 on this, that'd be amazing.
Looks like there's
Because,
been a
I mean, that's on pace. Wasn't really much strategy to speak of. Just, yeah. Having better cars, better drivers. I mean, we don't, but, you know, because they kind of sit in the neutral settings, you know, we're able to push things a little bit further through strategy and stuff. Like putting a bit of extra fuel in at the beginning just means we can run faster for longer. Kind of looks like we're consolidating this. Certainly podium positions anyway. Oh, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Ocon burning a lot more fuel. I don't know if that's because he's leading. I don't know if the lead car, because he's not able to slipstream
Ferrari
anyone,
advance the race position.
whether he, the lead car just does burn a bit more fuel than the cars behind. But I think I'm going to pop back into the cockpit now for the final 5 or 6 laps, just to make sure we stay on top of this. Quick look behind. Norris is pestering Leclerc again. Good lad. Slightly worried on his tyres though. I'm going to actually pop, although it looks like we'll be okay, I'm going to pop him down to the neutral setting for those.
Hold on.
Yeah, confirm.
We're on, Ocon's on hards though, so I think that should be okay.
McLaren gain a position.
Fuel-wise, I think we're okay anyway. I should go to the director's cam for a while. We can see how tightly everyone's bunched. Coming into the straight now, might see the Ferrari and Red Bull overtake, possibly. So yeah, Leclerc, Verstappen and us. And then a bit of a gap to Sainz and
Okay,
Perez,
5
who are
laps to
their
go, 5
team's
laps.
number 2 drivers. I'm a little bit concerned about fuel on Ocon's car. I mean, we're in the green just, but we've got quite a lot less in the tank than Norris. But then I'm a bit worried about Norris's tyres. Just a quick check of tyres on everyone else. I expect ours are a lot lower than anybody else's. They're not going to experience any problems before the end of the race, but we might. God, it's so close. Look at it. Imagine if Ocon gets a win in his first race for McLaren. That'd be amazing. I don't think the fact that it's his home Grand Prix does have an effect on this game. I think it can do in Motorsport Manager. I think certain drivers have a hometown champion trait. It means they do overperform for their particular home race. But I've seen nothing to suggest that's the case in this game. On the straight now, and I think Leclerc was positioning himself for a cheeky overtake.
4 laps.
I think he's second now. Third. It's the cornering. We're good on the cornering. Our drivers are both good at cornering, and our car is good at cornering. So together, that's pretty good. So 4 laps left. Norris's tyres are getting right down there. I'd be very surprised if he gets a podium finish, I think, because we're having to nurse those tyres a little bit. I think at the very least he's helping Ocon hang on to P1 currently. Don't take him out. I've said don't fight with your teammate, so don't fight with your teammate. It's not hard. I'll be very annoyed if you wipe each other out. Every time they go into a corner, I'm just praying they don't spin out or lock up. It does happen. It'd be heartbreaking if it does. There's Leclerc again. We're on the straight now, so he might well think about overtaking us. P1. I think he is. I think he's got it.
3 laps to go. That's put you P2.
I daren't go any more aggressive on the
and
tyres.
Ferrari just gained a place.
I daren't. Just have to see if Ocon can get it back on his own. I mean, when it's the final lap, maybe... Oh, God, look at us with the DRS. Just boom. Okay, well, we got it back. Might go to defend mode on our ERS. Let's try and ensure that we keep Leclerc behind us.
It's a good stint so far.
Norris's tyres are gonna hit the dreaded 30% very soon. So he'll have 2 laps to do on degraded tyres, which is not ideal. I think Ocon will be okay, just about. Decent gap to Leclerc now, although as soon as we hit that straight, he's going to come up again. I think we've got... I think we've overtaken the Williams, but I think we've got Vettel and the Haas ahead of us. Not too far, might even take them.
2 more laps.
2 more laps.
Copy.
30% now. I mean, to be honest, well, might as well go aggressive on the degraded tyres.
Head down.
Contact.
No real reason not to.
Struggling a little bit with rear.
Do what you can, Lando.
Can we change tires?
No, you're not going to change tyres 2 laps from the end of the race. Forget about it. Now, if it was Verstappen in the last race, you know, he could run on 0% tyres and still be faster than us. Doesn't seem to work the other way around, unfortunately. Lap and a half to go. God, if we overtake Schumacher and he wipes us out in the final lap, I'll be very annoyed. I think Schumacher is developing into my nemesis for some reason, even though he's nowhere near us in the driver standings. Right. Well, when we cross the line, I'm going to put the tyres up to max as well, because I want a bit of a gap between us and Leclerc, and I think we'll be able to do it. I think 2% on hard tyres is fine for 1 lap. What is a mistake? I don't know. We're going to do it anyway.
Come on, mate.
Copy now.
Okay, final lap.
Nothing else. It might help us get the fastest lap of the race. Nice clear track ahead of us. Director's count for a bit. Yes, still holding third. Good boy. Nice to his to defend as well. Corners bit now, which is our strength. There's not really a straight left for him to get us on. Norris still in third. Verstappen very close to him. Alright, we're on 30% now on the tyres, so we're going to slow down a little bit. But we still are pushing. So, in fact, let's push on car 2 as well. Right, here we go. Final bit. Oh, he's right there. I think we got it, though. P1.
Okay, that's the check.
There we go, P3. Awesome.
Good race, guys. Good race.
That is
Very
a
good
fabulous
race,
drive,
guys.
mate.
Very, very good race.
Fail 84, please, mate. Fail 84.
Woo! Ocon. In with a bang. Starts as he means to go on, I hope. That was awesome. And no trickery or unfair advantages needed. Just pushing the cars as hard as we could. And yeah, with a very, very, very good result for McLaren. Yeah, there's no reason to stop developing for next year's cars to concentrate on this year's cars when you know, we're capable of races like that. We're going to speed things up now for the slow pokes. Here we are, Esteban.
This is a performance
Completely
to remember from Esteban.
Vindicating my
Ocon.
decision to
Extraordinary.
bring him in at great expense. Good lad.
Imagine how chuffed they must be. A podium is a real feat, and it's been accomplished in style.
Both French drivers P1, P2. So good from that point of view as well. Very nice, lads.
And there's no denying that the Frenchman deserves this result. He was absolutely brilliant. A lovely occasion as we see all three drivers clearly relishing their moments on the podium. McLaren have shown some serious chops here. A good result for the...
Was a good result. Nicely done, lads. Gained 5 positions, Lando up a couple. Leclerc still ended up with the fastest lap, unfortunately. How far behind were we? I mean, Norris was closer, but still 0.3 of a second slower. So, driver standings now. So, Ocon's gained 3 places after that. He's 10 points behind Danny, who obviously gained those points racing for us. Norris with 15, so he's gained on Perez, but still a fairly significant gap there in the constructors. Started to reel in, I suppose, the teams above us, but I don't really expect to be a serious competitor to either. But if the rest of the season progresses like that, who knows? I think probably the more important thing is that we, you know, put a lot of air between ourselves and Mercedes, who we were behind at one point in a not too distant past. Lovely XP for the drivers. More development points. See, his growth potential is, what was, Ricciardo's was low, wasn't it? So he was like 0.87 or something like that. So yeah, so he's getting a lot more XP for races than Ricciardo was. And also we're saving 500,000 per race because Ricciardo was taking 1 million of that, wasn't he? Sponsors payouts all good. Brilliantly done. So we've got 4 days now until the Hungaroring. The Hungaroring, whatever that's pronounced. That's round 13 of 22. Have a quick check in with our drivers. So yeah, so no points. One for Theo. We're going to upgrade his... I mean, it all needs to be upgraded eventually, doesn't it? But let's maybe put one into overtaking. I presume he's French as well, yeah. Oh, I'm very pleased with Ocon. Very pleased with how that race went. Board review in 7 days. Currently have high confidence. That's fine. We'll have a quick look at how that breaks down. Race performance, happy, and look at all that. Delighted with everything since Barcelona. Objectives are going well. Finances, yep. Long-term objective is to become the Constructors' Championship. We've got until 2026 to try and do that. But I think if we can do a lot of research between now and next season, that I think we'll be in with a shout at that next time. Right, let's go back to our inbox. Esteban Ocon claimed the checkered flag at the French Grand Prix, finishing ahead of Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. Qualified in P6, fought his way to become top. And he went first place relatively quickly. I think it was, if it wasn't the first lap, it was in the second, and he kind of just held on to it, which is awesome. Congratulations, could not be happier. increase the board's confidence immensely. And when they have that review in 7 days, it's going to be in the next episode, but after the next Grand Prix. Depending on your performance, they will actually give you a bit of money as well, which would be nice, because we're not poor, but equally we're not rich, so anything in there would be helpful. Let's have a quick look at our staff and see if anyone's gained any development points here. Doesn't look like it. High morale from the race engineers, and I'm not surprised. What's our pit crew working on? Front and rear jacks, they're pretty good on that now, so let's actually switch them to tyre changes. And yeah, we'll probably leave it there for now. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed playing it and seeing our McLaren boys doing well in France. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, then please do hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. And otherwise, I hope to see you next time when we're going to head to Hungary. Bye for now.